Let's start with the old hourly model. It's kind of the one that any of us have been practicing for a while, kind of grew up with. One of the first things that when I passed the bar exam and started practicing as a lawyer, you got this sheet with all these little lines on it, and you were supposed to record all your time in 6-minute increments of so-called point one. So that is a model that a lot of lawyers still use and a lot of types of cases still use. But it is on the old sort of idea that the best way to compensate an attorney is based on their time. Now that model I think is becoming less and less common, I think for good reason, but it is in many ways it's the easiest one to do for everything other than injury cases. But it's not really, I would say, the most fair or the most economical and efficient way to do it. So hourly is something that, if you would say, is still pretty common in things like divorce matters, is probably the most common in general litigation. And essentially, the attorney does their work, or the staff does their work, and then you'll get a bill every month, however often they bill for however many hours that person has worked, and at their hourly rate. And probably the biggest, I guess, distinguishing factor between different hourly rate models, besides the amount of the rate, is it going to be paired with what we would call an advanced fee? So is the person going to have to pay some of that money in advance? And that goes into something called a trust account. We'll talk about trust accounts here in a little bit. Is it simply, I'm going to do the work, send you a bill, and then you pay? I grew up being sort of taught to get some money up front because it's easier to get the money before you do the work than after you do the work is kind of the philosophy there, and it makes sense. But essentially the idea is like pay in a certain amount of money in advance, it goes into account, and then you just kind of work off of that each month until you run out, or if the work is done and there's still money left over, then that gets returned to the client.